Hi everybody. First of all, I've been getting a couple of emails saying that it's a little bit confusing how StringTokenizer works. And it's actually not graded by the APCS exam, but it's a really helpful class that you can use just to separate tokens and put a line into tokens and manipulate different strings where you have many words. You can also use the split method, but the StringTokenizer is a lot easier. Some people are also having difficulties with the way that you import a text file into your Java programs. As a matter of fact, this is a skill that you are going to need as a programmer because most of the data is held in TXT files or CSV or other formats that allow you to import different types of files and information into your programs. You cannot always just input all the information, so that would be unpractical and almost impossible. So I'm gonna make some clearance about what to do when you are creating these type of imports, and we're going to use the file, and we're going to use the work we saw last week. So the very first thing you need to do is understand where are you holding those TXT files. And on the VHS lessons, we were asked to create a folder on your root drive, okay, on your C, and called VHS APCS data. Now here, you should have your files, the one that you actually need. So for this file, I think we are going to use the P35 data 1, which is the total weekly pay reloaded. Now here we have the name of this person, name of the Kermit. Okay, we have Kermit, and we have first of all his hourly wage. Then we have the hourly wage, and all these are going to be divided into the hours that he worked throughout the week. Okay, so that's something very important. And this is the overtime. Okay, remember we have the hourly wage, we have the overtime, and we have all these numbers and information that we need to tokenize, or we need to split into different tokens in order to develop our work. So that's the very first thing. Then when we go back to our Java program, this is what we're going to do, and I'm going to tell you step by step to understand what this is and what you will need, okay? So basically, we need, first of all, we need to import java.io, and I put ** so I can import all the classes inside that IO package. And then I import java.util, which is all the utilities where I have the scanner and I have other things that are important. So I just import these two, and I continue to create the objects from the classes that I need to import TXT files. And this would be the in file, the in reader, and the reader. This is something that are variables necessary for file input. They do not change. These are going to be exactly the same every time. I recommend that you always use these so you understand that they are related to the files that you're using. And of course, we continue with the StringTokenizer variable used to separate line into different data elements. This is also the same thing. This StringTokenizer is the one that's going to hold the line of information. Okay. Then we have our program variables. Okay, and in our program variables, we have a line, which is the line that is going to read every time. Okay, that line is going to be the one that stores the information after the StringTokenizer, okay? And this would be a string. Remember that we use a StringTokenizer, it's not a string. It's just an object that manipulates different strings. So you want to put those those tokens into a line. Then we have our first name and our last name, which are two different string variables. And of course we have our hourly wage, the regular Monday, overtime Monday, regular Tuesday, overtime Tuesday. I mean, in your case, this was completely different. You can use the variables that you created in your previous project. So basically this is what we have. We have the hourly wage, and then we have all the regular times. Of course, we have the total wage, which is at the end of the week, and the calculation of overtime. Okay? So this are the variables. So we declared all of our variables. This is really important for the first thing to do. And we get into our public static void main. Our main method must have a throws IO exception if the file is not found in our folder. So it's very important that we have this exception, okay, to get if the file is not there, or if we didn't type it correctly. Now the first method we are going to create is the init file. In this init file method, we import the file, okay? We import the file, we make sure it works, we make sure that the information is there and that the file is placed on this specific folder. Then we go to get data, so we're going to retrieve all the data from that file, and we are going to tokenize it and manipulate it with the StringTokenizer class. And then you guys, of course, you will have to do all the calculations after you have the variables in place and print the results. So basically you have these 4 methods that will help you create your program, okay? So at the end, closing the data file, we close the in file and we'll show it later. So the very first method is called init file, and this is going to be the same for everybody, okay? Unless you're using a Mac. If you're using Windows, this is the path. If you use a Mac, then you just look on properties and get info from that file, and you will see the path, okay? It's actually with slash. It's called user /1/ and then continue on with the whole path, okay? On Windows, we use double backslash, okay? Double backslash every time. We created this folder on the root file so it's easier for us to find this file and to write it down, okay? This is very important. So this is exactly the same. The init file is the same for everybody. You can just copy and paste it. It's going to be the same as the one we did before. And here we get the data acquisition method, okay? So this is the data acquisition. And here I think is where most of the people are having a little bit trouble just working with the StringTokenizer class. So in the get data, also must have a throws IO exception. As you see, all these methods have a throws IO exception in case the file is not read properly. Now the line equals reader will read the first line of code. Let the first line of the txt file, okay? Every time that you do this, it reads the line of the txt file, okay? If you say read line again, it will continue reading the next line. It kind of works like the StringTokenizer, okay? Now systemout.println, here's where I can see the line that I just picked up from the txt file, and then I print it, then I leave a space, okay? Then, after I get that line from the buffer, because I'm reading a line from the buffer, I have to create a string tokenizer, and I declare that string tokenizer with that line, okay? So that's the very first thing we need to do. So when you read the line as a string, and then that line should be tokenized, okay, in order to manipulate each word or each set of numbers, okay? After I have that line as a string tokenizer, I can tokenize my line. Every time I say next token, I'm using the first, the second, and so on. So here, this is just an example, but you would have to do it not with only hourly wage, but with overtime Monday, etc. And I think this is, going to write it correctly, overtime. So we look at our variables. It's regular Monday, overtime regular Monday, overtime Monday. So regular Monday, okay, and so on and so forth until you have all your variables tokenized, okay? Now here's a little trick. The first token is a string, right? So this is, when you tokenize it, it will just save it as a string. The last name is also a string. But with the hourly wage, if you want to turn this into an integer number where you can do operations later, you can parse this string into a double. So you would want to use this function or method from the double class in order to cast it, or just parse that number into a double where you can create operations later on. So you would have to do that with all the numbers for this program. When you're done with getting all the data, then it's up to you to just calculate everything else. So here on the calc total method, you can just do all the calculations to get the complete total weekly pay. Okay? And then at the end, just create another method called print results where you can print all the results at the end, and then just close the file that we created, the Init File, and that's it. It's a very simple program. So I think the most confusing part is getting the data. Okay? You will need this for your project explained on week 14 and 15, your major project for the end of the quarter. So please understand how to import a TXT file into your Java programs, how to use StringTokenizer to tokenize your lines, and or use the split method, which is also pretty simple. Okay, you can also use the split method from the string class, and how to do it using different static methods. Okay, so this would be kind of like the summary of everything that we need, and if you need some help. Okay, now if you were not able to complete your project for this week or for week 10, and you see this video and you think you're able to complete it, please let me know, and I'll see if I can give you a little bit of an extension to hand it in. It's very important that you understand how to do this more than anything else. Okay, so good luck with that.